But now my question for you, and I apologize if I'm talking too much, I'd like to ask you about the mirror stage. When we watch an actor on a film and we pretend that he is a more perfect version of us, like if he became a surrogate Nelson or a proxy Alireza, on the screen, in Lacanian psychoanalysis, is that considered as still part of the mirror stage? Because we are observing not ourselves, but how we would like to be. There is idealization, right?
Yes. I'm remembering the part of the Hans Kohut theory when he talks about the mirror-hungry personality disorder. Kohut tried to explain that when someone stays in front of the mirror, he or she wants to approve her or his wellness, good looking, and mentally wants to get a affirmation, confirmation from the mirror. And if you shift this kind of act in the interpsychic environment, you may find several people who always try to get confirmation from others. And Kohut labels this kind of individual as mirror-hungry personality. They are always trying to get confirmation from the other. It seems that they always stay in front of the mirror and look to others and try to get sentences that confirm you are okay, you are good looking.
Would you say that codependence would...
Yes.
Yeah.
You can find these characters in dependent personality, but Kohut specifically differentiate from the dependent personality. He tries to make some differentiation from the dependence. He believes that you can find this kind of confirmation in any type of personalities, maybe, and in dependent personalities too. Yes, the function of the mirror is one of the interesting area for psychoanalysis theory makers. The mirror has a specific place in the psychoanalysis theory. If you try to connect between the mirror stage of Lacan, mirroring of object relation theory, mirror hungry from Hans Kohut theory, you can find similarities from the place of the mirror in the psychoanalysis. It's a kind of reflection. For example, when the Thomas Agden referred to the psychoanalyzed function as a mirror, when
yes,
he's trying to understand the client and analyzant, believes that the analyzed function must be as a mirror function. The analyst must look at him or herself. What am I feeling right now? Okay. And these feelings must be related to my clients through the enactment, unconscious connections between the unconscious of the psychoanalyst and unconscious of the clients, and must reflect this emotion to the clients. I'm feeling a kind of emotion. Is it what you are feeling right now, or you are trying to tell me? Makes sense? Is it touchable? When the psychoanalyst tries to touch the emotion, and in this position, the analyst has a function like a mirror when he's trying to reflect what he's getting from the clients.
So would you say, for example, that the humanistic approach of Carl Rogers, of the unconditional positive regard and also the reflection of the questions, do you think it creates like an ideal mirror where we can see ourselves but on a positive light? Does this make sense to you?
Yes. Yes, this is a kind of mirror functioning by the psychotherapist. Yes. You can find finally, I believe that a lot of bridge between the several psychoanalysis theory and even non-psychoanalytic theory. it seems that all of the theories want to tell one thing, and this is the client and the individual must finally get to the position of the subjectivity. This is the final goal of all of psychotherapy theories. When the Bandura tried to explain his story, when he talks about self-agency, self-autonomy, Lacan believed that the client must finally get from the objective position to the subjective position. When the client finally can understand his trace of subjectivity in the past, after the psychoanalytic process, the other was not ignored me. The other was not hurt me. It was mine. I was hurt, not the other. The position of the interpsychic shifted from objectivity to subjectivity. It's a kind of self-autonomy by Bandura, self-agency. Carl Rogers tried to explain his theory when he tried to get his clients to self-actualization. What is self-actualization? Maslow or humanistic theories. All of them want to tell the final goal and destination of all psychotherapy stories is to give the role to the client. You are the driver of your car in the line of life.
Amazing.
You have got the power. You have the self-autonomy. You have the self-agency. This is the goal of all of the psychotropic approaches. I believe that. And this is the most common and the core function of all psychotropies.
Wow.
I believe.
That's amazing. I would like, Alireza, to ask you something else. Still back to the mirror stage, temporarily. I have one more question.
Please.
Because the mirror stage implies elation. We see ourselves in an almost ideal way, but also implies frustration because we know we cannot possess that image. So it's a bit like, when Narcissus tries to hug himself and kiss himself, the only thing he found on the reflection was the cold, deadly water. He found the lips of death. He did not find himself. Actually, Narcissus could not fall in love with himself. He fell in love with his reflection. Because himself was here, not there, not in the water, He didn't fall in love with himself. He fell in love with his reflection, deflected to him, deflected back. All desire, according to what I read of maybe Lacan as well, it seems that desire is based on the fact that we cannot achieve what we desire. Because the moment we achieve, it's almost like if the desire is gone, or at least it loses importance. Okay. So in film, the fact that those are projected images, they are virtual, they look real. You really think you are in a car chase. You really jump on the seat if the monster comes in, or the spider. You really believe that you are in love if there is a love story on the film. But the fact that it's an illusion, the fact that it cannot be possessed by the viewer, it can only be witnessed, but never possessed. Do you think that helps to create the appeal of cinema? The appeal of moving pictures? Do you think that makes moving pictures more desirable because we cannot possess that story in our own life?
Okay. Yes. Let me refer you to the Kohut theory again. When Kohut, in his self-psychoanalysis theory, tried to explain the psychoanalysis function when he is visiting the narcissistic personality individuals. And Kohut says that the psychoanalyst must encourage the client, do not afraid, doesn't afraid that the client consider the psychoanalysis as a part object, idealized part objects of him or herself. Mm-hmm. Freud believes that this narcissistic personality are untreatable, despite the Kohut theory that for the first time he started to treat the narcissistic personality. And as you know, our friend Sam Vaknin believes that the narcissistic personality are untreatable. I'm just talking about the Kohut theory and referring to your question, coming back to your question, that it's a kind of theory that try to consider the psychoanalyzed functions as a kind of reflection of the idealized part object of the client. And he allowed the client to consider the psychoanalyzed as idealized part objects, to start it to have a connection with the unconscious of the narcissistic personality person. Because if you don't allow this kind of connection started, there is no therapeutic rapport with this kind of narcissistic personality. Yes. And coming back to a question, yes, the arts and cinema and painting, and maybe my next question from you as a thinker and the painter, refer to that, yes, the art is a reflection of the unconscious languages. And the artists try to translate the unconscious languages to the material that are objective. The main responsibility of artists is translating unconscious languages to the objective material to others.